Good evening, fight fans. Jay's Fight Talk here with God knows what episode it is, but we're here back at Thursday night, 7 o'clock. It's Straight Talk. I'm Jay's Fight Talk, Jay Murphy, your host, and my co host is my No Punches Pulled co host, the host of Liam's Fight Night Picks, and Statman, Liam Tully. How are we, brother?
I'm all good, brother. I'm all good. Back in our normal slot, trying to get a bit of routine in amongst the chaos of the fight sport at the moment, aren't we?
We are, but we're back. I wouldn't say back with a bang. The boxing headlines are a little bit, it's slim pickings, but we've got a lot of upcoming fights to talk about, and there are a few headlines and rumored fights and whatnot. We are going to touch on the massive UFC event that's taking place this weekend. I'm still not sure that it's going to be Dustin Poirier's last fight. I think it may depend on the result. I think if he starches Max Holloway and wins the BMF, we could actually see him. I think he'll want to fight Ilia Topuria, but look, we'll talk about boxing first, and then we'll come on to the UFC later on. Right, I've got a few bits and bats here. We obviously know the fights that are coming up this weekend, and we've touched on those on No Punches Pulled, Sunday Straight Talk, and we've done our predictions. So I'm looking at some of the headlines here. Now, all the noise coming out of the Eubank Ben camps is that this fight is no longer going to happen. And we saw Conor Benn in studio with Shakur Stevenson talking about fighting at 147. What's your take on this fight? I did say that the rematch wouldn't happen. I did say the original fight wouldn't happen as well. I think there's a running theme there, but I can't say I'm disappointed that fight may not happen. What's your take on it, brother?
We didn't need to see a rematch after what happened. Did the first fight exceed our expectations? Yes, because I think our expectations were that far on the floor because of the debacle of how we got to that point that it was there to be raised. But it was a good 12-round fight. Look, Eubank Jr. done what he should have done against a guy that is never going to fight that high in weight again unless he's offered stupid money, if that makes sense. Yeah. So us not getting a rematch, I'm not going to complain about. Look, it would have been another case of Chris Eubank Jr. boiling his body down to somewhere he's not comfortable being, risking his health massively, and not knowing what the repercussions are going to be, especially after what we saw last time. We're not going to go over it again. Hospital stay wasn't very well because of the weight cut. We don't need to see it again. So I'm not too upset. Put it this way, it's not something that I'm going to lose much sleep over if we don't see Ben and Eubank Jr. in a ring again.
No, and I'm at full agreement. Look, I'm all for, making big fights, right? And I'm older than you, and I've seen I were there to witness the dad's second fight, and I remember the excitement around the first fight, and I get it. But I did always say that Harlem should have been the one to fight Ben because they are the same weight division, 147, yes. And whatever way you sugarcoat it, that wasn't the best of Chris Eubank Jr. Fighting that night. As you said, he was depleted. Not only was he depleted, he was then restricted in his rehydration, and there was just a lot of shit. If those guys could have picked a common ground, which they're never going to get, Conor's too small to do 160, 168, really. And we saw that Eubank was depleted, but was still in control. I never thought he was in any form of trouble. So, look, draw a line under it. Eubanks are better than the Bens, historically. It's as simple as that, And Nigel Benn was my favourite growing up, but I appreciated Senior as well, and I think he's grown on me as I've got older, and I now appreciate how good he was looking back. I hated the character as a kid, but his son is better than Conor Benn, and I think, and before we move on, I think if Conor Benn stopped pretending that he's this cockney geezer that's going to iron everybody out and just admitted that, look, you're a middle-class kid that was brought up on the coast of Spain, went to private school, there's nothing street about you, mate. So stop it. And there's big fights there for him because he's a big name. But I'm telling you now, Shakur Stevenson will wipe the fucking floor with him. He'll wipe the floor with him.
Mate, I don't want to see him fight Shakur. I tell you what I do want to see. It's a fight we should have got back 4 or 5 years ago. Josh Kelly.
Good shout.
That's the fight. Look,
Josh Kelly. I think Josh Kelly could beat him.
Yeah, look, Josh Kelly's called for it today. He's used the cancellation announcement, and he's actually gone on his social media and
That's what he
call the
needs to do.
fight. And
Brilliant.
not, and Wasserman and of course Cali Sauerland can't help himself, can he? He's gone from announcing Darren Till and Luke Rockhold to getting on this train. Look, it's good to see Josh Kelly call for a fight. In all seriousness, let's not diminish it too much. We all know what direction Matchroom were moving in before Kelly lost to Avanesian. Conor Benn was part of the Sky team that night, for God's sake. He was ready to absolutely tear into Josh Kelly, wasn't he? From as close as you could have got in COVID times. Instead, he was there slagging him off because he lost to a fighter that Conor Benn would have lost to at that point in his career in Avanesian. That's the reality. Do I think we'll get it at 147? No, I think we'll get it at 154.
154.
I don't mind where we get it as long as we get them two fighting. It's long overdue. It's the best option out there for Josh Kelly right now, outside of obviously a world title fight. And we've spoken about how we feel about him getting a world title fight. And for Conor Benn, look, if he beats Josh Kelly, he's saying legitimately that, okay, 160 or whatever the Eubank fight was at was too high.
Much.
But when you bring me back down here, look, there's something about me. This is what I can do. So I think it makes sense for both.
I totally agree. And listen, I know I have a contact at the Blue Water Leisure Centre and a contact at Channel 5. So we're sorted Friday night. 500 people crammed into the shopping centre, Leisure Centre, live on 5. But no, look, Josh Kelly's deserving of a big fight. I think he's earned it again. You know, I think the Avanesian fight was too soon for him, and Avanesian was just too good.
Yeah.
But look, Josh Kelly needs a big fight, or he's just gonna waste his career away. And he's good enough to command a decent fight like this. And look, Conor Benn, as much as if he wasn't Nigel Benn's son, he would just be another welterweight fighter. And I actually think Josh Kelly, skill for skill, is a better fighter than him. Or Harlem Eubank. I wouldn't mind seeing Harlem Eubank versus Benn. It's a more realistic fight. Have it at 154. Benn reckons he can make 147. If you can make 147, then do it at 147.
Yeah. Same with Josh Kelly. If they can both make 147, do it at 147. Look.
Not sure Josh can now, though.
Yeah. Look, Josh Kelly was deserving of a big fight last September, wasn't he, when he was meant to fight Beefy Smith? And we know what happened. Beefy was injured and he ended up in there with Ish Davis. He still won and got the job done, but no disrespect to Ish Davis. He's not the same name or being in the same places as Liam Smith. So he's still after that name to show that he's back and meaning business, as he keeps talking about. So, look, we know Eddie and the Sauerland brothers will work together. It's not as big an issue as it would be if this was a boxer fight, although we don't know what's going on with boxing. You see my point. There's a very good working relationship that's existed for years between Matchroom and Wasserman. It should be easy to make. And bloody hell, did the zone need a good British main event for the second half of the year?
Absolutely, they do. Hopefully we'll see one. Moving on then, my good friend, Michaela Meyer. I say good friend. She commented on one of my jokes today, so that technically we're seeing each other now. I'm Mr. Mayer now. But no, she's calling for Katie Taylor at 140 or 147. Do you want to see that fight? I mean, you could do that. It's easy to make over in Ireland because, you know, Michaela's fought over here in terms of England or the United Kingdom. I know it's Southern Ireland, but look, I think that fight's easy to make. She's got a decent relationship with Eddie Hearn as Michaela. I think he promotes her, doesn't he? Or he promoted her at one stage. Promote her at one point. She's had the fights with Sandy Ryan, so she's known to the British public. She's a biggish name in America. And I think it's a winnable fight for Katie Taylor to bow out on. No disrespect, Michaela, but I just think Katie's better than her. But it's a fight I'd watch. I'd rather see that. And no disrespect again. I'm the most disrespectful person you could ever meat. But
we've not heard that for a while, mate. Welcome back.
We haven't. I need to trademark that. But I'm not interested in the Chantel Cameron rematch. That fight's done for me. And I can't think of anybody else that's a decent enough name. I know it sounds... I want Kate... Do you know what I mean? It's an easy fight, but not an easy fight, if that makes any sense. There's less risk for a decent reward. I mean, I don't think Katie will go up to 147, but I could see her doing it at 140. What's your take on that? Do you think it's a makeable fight first? Or do you
I
think
don't
she's
know where.
clutching at straws?
Yeah, I do think she is a bit because we know that the Lauren Price unification fight is there. Michaela is contracted still. I think she does it on a fight by fight basis, but she's with Top Rank. Lauren Price and Ben Shalom said this even before Boxer fell off a cliff face that he was happy for Lauren to go over to Top Rank for the unification fight. That was not an issue. So we know that fight is there to be made. She's made such a big noise about once she gets through Sandy Ryan again, whoever it is, Tasha Jonas or Lauren, I want to fight in a unification.
Yeah.
Do that unification. She's worked so hard to get in a position where she's picked up the belts after, losing to G-Stock Baumgardner, the close fight with Tasha at the start of last year in Liverpool. She's now in a position where she's one fight away from unifying a division. Do I think she beats Lauren Price? No, I don't.
No.
For all the reasons we said about Lauren before. But
yeah.
Look, everyone and anyone's going to call out Katie Taylor at the moment. It's in and around those weight divisions because they know if she gets the Irish fight for her last fight, it's absolutely huge cheddar. It's huge cash. And as the females aren't getting the opportunities from Turkey and Saudi money, this is their opportunity. But, they either go to MVP or they put themselves in a position to be Katie Taylor's final opponent in Dublin. That's the two ways. Look, if it happens, I wouldn't be mad about it. But I do think, focus on what you said you want to do, which is unify 147.
I agree, but look, I think she's realistic in knowing that she ain't unifying. She's not beating Lauren Price unless she catches and knocks her out. I don't think she's hard enough to do that. But look, hopefully, Katie Taylor announces a big fight soon for Ireland, and because I don't want it dragging out so that she's even older, because she's nigh on 40. She's slowed down. We saw her adapt her footwork at the weekend because she, movement's a lot slower. But I just want to see Katie have one more fight in Ireland, get the homecoming, bow out with all the belts, and go on and be a pundit or a coach or whatever. Another female fight. Then I mean, if these two girls will comment on each other's stuff, but they never seem to be on there at the same time. Caroline Dubois and Terry Harper. Are we ever going to see that fight? They both say they want it.
So then, Boxer,
you spilt your drink, mate.
Yeah, I have, mate. So then, Boxer needs to release Caroline Dubois. I need to clean up in a minute. Boxer either needs to release Caroline Dubois or Terry, or Matchroom make Caroline an offer that's too good to refuse. I mean, no one really knows what's going on with Terry Harper. Her last fight was GBM, which
she's just in the gym wearing really tight shorts.
Yes, off-puttingly tight shorts, which was obviously...
She's trolling now, though, because a few people have commented on it, so she's trolling. She's got a decent enough figure, and she's comfortable. Do it.
I think on that fight that you've just mentioned, Terry Harper is obviously allegedly signed to Matchroom, but there's word coming out now that she's actually a free agent, and that wasn't a favour from Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, letting her fight on GBM. That was how her contract situation is.
Right.
And I think that's the only thing stopping the fight. If Terry Harper was still 100% a Matchroom fighter, there's no reason why they can get Caroline Dubois across to the zone to make the fight. They both want it. They both want it. They both need it for where they're at in their careers. It's as simple as that, mate.
Who wins that fight for you?
Caroline Dubois.
I think so too. I mean, Terry's good, and she's on a resurgence, and she's not as old as I thought she was.
No, as we discussed.
I just think Caroline is just a little bit fresher, younger, and better, I think. Evening, Jams. If you're not following Red Corner Boxing, get following Red Corner Boxing. Loads of great content, news, views, watch-alongs, etc.
That's what it is, mate. Caroline Dubois is the new breed of female boxers, similar to where Lauren Price is at in terms of how relentless they are, how hard they hit, etc., etc., etc. And I think that will be the undoing of Terry Harper. Look, game as they come, Terry Harper will probably last the full 10 rounds, but you just expect Caroline to have just that little bit of an edge.
I disagree, Jam. So I saw Terry Harper ask where Caroline was, and I think you're saying that Caroline said she was in camp and she can do it in 11, 12, 13 or 14 weeks. I don't think it's signed, but I think we will see that fight at some stage. It's the biggest fight for both of them. And if the news is right, what I'm hearing about Boxer, then if anybody wants to see any content from Boxer, if you put into Google www.nobodieswatching.com, all their fights will be on there because they have got no TV deal, Ben Shalom, Mr. Useless Marketing, charisma of a breeze block, he teased a massive deal, did he not, the other week, and said everybody would be shocked. I'm hearing BBC iPlayer, for goodness sake. That is not a big deal. That is where promotions go to die or tread water while they're negotiating a big deal. We've seen it from Bellator. We've seen it from Octagon. We've seen it from PFL. BBC put amateur and some low-level boxing on there. But look, BBC iPlayer is not the place you want to be if you want to be a player within the market of boxing.
It's an absolute clusterfuck, isn't it? Because we're sitting on Callum Simpson fight week and Ben does that interview with Stomping Ground, grinning like a Cheshire cat or a lad that's, spent the night with a girl for the first time, saying, I've got something exciting to tell you all soon, but I can't tell you, almost giggling like a teenager. And here we are 6 weeks later, and the rumour is BBC iPlayer.
That's not good enough, man.
You're not going to hold on. You're not going to hold on to Billum Smith, Adam Azim, Vidal Riley, Caroline Dubois, Lauren Price, Arten Stall, TKV even. Just
come
on to him in Fraser Clark. They are all got Ben Whitaker. There you go. There's 8 there. That may be
he's got some marquee names there, though. Adam Azim,
Whitaker, there we go. I'm missing
Simpson and Fraser Clark and Caroline Dubois are 5, not household names, but, this is how I judge it, right? If I called my missus in here and showed her a picture, she knows who Ben Whitaker is. She knows who Caroline Dubois is. She knows who Fraser Clark is. And my missus don't really watch boxing, but she's seen enough of their fights when I've been watching them to know who they are. I think Ben would have been better sitting down with Frank or Eddie or both or Turkey and just saying, look, my TV deal's coming to an end. Can you get me over on DAZN? And done some fight-by-fight basis with them on DAZN, just agreed to make 3 or 4 of his fights against their fighters. So, we'll make a fight with Simpson. We'll make a fight with Dubois. We'll make a fight with Whitaker. Let me fight over on DAZN. But I think his pride's got in the way. He's bought into that narrative of Ben's getting bullied. So, fuck him, I'm going to do my own thing. Nobody wants him. Nobody wants him. By the sound of it and by the look of it.
It's either that, mate, or remember there was rumours he was going to TNT, wasn't there, at the start of June? It's either that or TNT have decided that they don't want to carry on in boxing, and it's now come to a position where the only option on the table is BBC iPlayer.
Or is he trolling? And there will be the big TNT announcement, or DAZN, or Sky.
It's a tragic, mate. It's a tragic troll, isn't it? I mean, go with the troll of I'm setting up my own YouTube. Boxing YouTube is going to become the home of our fights. That would be a better troll than saying BBC iPlayer. I mean, it's clutching its straws, and it's a shame because we just reeled off 9. Well, they're 9 marquee names, but at least half of them are potential to be marquee names within UK and world boxing. They're all going to go, mate. They're all going to go. And Ben Shalom will be back to doing Ultimate Boxer on whatever broadcaster will have him with whatever fighters he can pick up. And that's not me being disrespectful. That's just the reality because none of his big names will stay around.
No, I totally agree. And I'm interested to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. I think Ben will have to make an announcement, a formal announcement at some point. What do you think to Turkey and Ring Magazine? Riyadh season pulling the plug on Eubank Junior Ben too. I don't believe that. I think that, I do believe it, but I think what's happened is I said yesterday, me, Liam, and Sam were talking about on and off camera that fight's not happening. Eubank Jr. hasn't signed. He's trying to renegotiate. I think he's trying to get the rehydrated. Look, Eubank's not in a. I don't think Eubank's in a hurry to make that fight anyway. He's got nothing more to prove. So I think them doing this is just solidifying what we already knew. That fight isn't made and wasn't made, and they should never have made the announcement when they did because it wasn't signed. Ben himself said on Ariel Helwani's show that Eubank Jr. had 5 days, I think, left to sign. And I think that news has come that Team Eubank have basically put it out there that, look, we're not signing on these terms. Hearn's gone, okay, then fair enough. And off they go. So Turkey's had to make this announcement to try save face after investing so much into the rematch.
It's either a Turkey power play before a massive announcement after Saturday night's out of the way, or he is as fed up as we are of this back and forth, and it's a rematch no one's interested in. Look, Turkey says he listens to what people want. To an extent, he does. and there's no real clamour for this rematch. No one's saying, oh my goodness, I need to see another 12 rounds of that. That was so close. Everyone's going, how good was it that we finally got the fight? Senior turned up, the nostalgia, simply the best. And
that was the best bit of the fight.
And we got a good 12 rounds of action. That's all everyone's saying. No one's saying, oh, you know what? We need a rematch. If Turkey's listening to it, and if this means his money is then going to go into another better card with fights we actually want to see before the end of the year, then I'm all for it, mate. If that's what he's doing, if he's pulling this money to give us something better in December, you're not going to see either of us complain.
No, and just following on, caveat, or segue into another announcement from Turkey and DAZN, that Turkey no longer, after he's just had 40 quid out of me for 2 shit cards, he now announces that pay-per-views are going to be no longer on DAZN. I mean, do you believe that?
No, not with the announcement today. They're just creating a new tiered system, aren't they? It'll be called, what's it called? I need to get this out so I get this up so I get it right whilst we're talking about it. But it's basically going to be a new tiered system called Ring.
I agree, Jams. Leave it as it was. One off. Simple as that. Bish, bash, bosh.
Yeah. It's going to be called the Ring Pass. It's going to be a premium global monthly subscription where all the Riyadh season and the ring fights will be on one subscription. So they're just getting more money out.
So I pay, what is it, 120 quid a year for DAZN, right? Or I will, because dickhead's only just sussed that out and has been paying 25 quid a month forever. Even though I signed up at a quid a month or whatever it was.
99p, mate. I remember that.
Whenever. Anyway, so does this mean that they will scrap that £10 a month or whatever we pay, and we pay a new premium of 20 quid a month, right? Or is he telling us that there's going to be DAZN standard and then this DAZN Riyadh premium, another paywall?
Yeah, it
are
looks
are they rebranding pay-per-views and splitting it down over the year? Is that what they're doing to us?
It looks like you're going to get your standard DAZN where you're going to get, say, your Garners and Belottis, your Fishers and your Allens, etc. type of fights, and then your Saudi events, your Riyadh season cards, your rings, and probably like fights of this weekend, your Undisputed Heavyweight Championship, are going to fall underneath this new banner. So,
do you know? Sorry, go on.
It's the end of pay-per-view, but it's just another paywall to mug us all off. That's all it is.
So Jams is saying, I don't know where he's got this from because they haven't released anything. $25.99 a month from now on for monthly subs. The Fight Pass will be around $40 a month, I've heard. So what happens to people like me and Liam that have got an annual pass then?
Well, this is the question.
As it is?
This is the question. What happens to people on annual subscriptions, people that are locked in?
It's not good enough. I'll give you an example, right? My Uncle John, God love him, Uncle John, my hero, good old Uncle John, got me into boxing, right? He's in his 60s, doesn't do much, right, but loves boxing, but he's not into technology, right? So I've got to set up his this, and I've got to order this for him. But he doesn't want to be paying 25 this and 40 this and 25 this, and he's old school, man, right? So they're losing. Right, out of my office at work, there's, say, 5 that watch boxing. There's only me that'll buy a pay-per-view. The rest of them will wait till the morning and watch it on YouTube for free. They are losing so much revenue. So I tell you who had the best model? Box Nation. They capped it at $5 a month. Yes, they didn't have massive fights on there, but they had some good fights, and eventually we did get some really good fights on there. But it should just be £5 a month. What's he saying here? Once the annual ends, it's already 15 a month. It's not 15 quid a month because I've literally just renewed it. It's 119 quid, is it?
I'm paying
less than
I'm
a tenner a
month. I'm paying 15 a month.
You are? Right, well, give me a second because I don't believe that I'm paying as much as that. Where is it? Subscriptions. Right, let's have a look.
You're saving the 60 quid with the annual, I think, mate, whereas I'm paying it monthly.
I thought you were on the annual, though.
I was, but I couldn't do it this year because of being out of work, so I've gone back onto the pay monthly.
Jesus, you know when I click on subscriptions and I realise how many things I'm subscribed to, like iCloud, Microsoft 365, Surfshark.
Takes you too long to find what you're looking for. But no, look, it's an absolute mess of a situation. The Zone have already ran the patience thin of their subscribers.
Oh, have we lost Liam there? Yeah, we have. Oh, you're back.
Dead. We've had more pay-per-views and fight nights. Slight exaggeration.
No, you're back now. You're back. You're back.
Yep. So
Yeah,
my point
back.
was, mate, look, people's patience is running thin. The Zone has said that, pay-per-view's dead. We've had almost as many pay-per-views as we've had standard fight nights this year. It was never going to go above £10. Well, we're now at 14, whatever we're at a month, about 15 quid a month. They're just taking advantage of,
How do you get it at 15? Sorry, I'm confused. So I pay £9.91 a month. How are you paying 15 quid a month? I don't get. It's either $24.99 or annual, isn't it?
So I'm on the monthly. What's it called? It's called the monthly saver. $14.99.
Oh, they don't do that anymore. That's why they've stopped doing that. So you can now it's $24.99 a month or 119 quid I've just paid, or I will pay at the end of this because I had a month left. So I've renewed it. It's 119 quid, which is less than a tenner a month. So they can't change that once I'm in on that. So I'd have to wait till next year. They'll have to wait till next year. By law, you can't. I'm outside of my cancellation period, so they can't just put it up. I mean, they probably can, but
they probably can because they'll find a back door. But yeah, mate, it's a mess. And like Mr. Neutral's comments just said, they're taking advantage of us punters like they've done from day dot. This Zone changing the game moniker that the company was brought in on is just taking the piss out of the game, really, because it's, the goalposts are changing, every 3 months?
It's a lot of money, right? I'll give you an example. So I pay, right, £100 and odd for Sky. I've got BT, and I've got BT for football and UFC. I've got Netflix. I've got Disney Plus. I've got Amazon Prime. I've got DAZN. So that's 6. I'm paying 300 quid a month just for TV. And do you know what? I barely watch TV. Yep. I barely watch TV. It's a fucking joke, man. They're killing us. God bless Fire Sticks that allegedly have dodgy links for some people because not everybody can afford it. I mean, I can't afford it, but I do. Do you know what I mean? And the amount of times I sleep through UFCs and miss it. The good thing about Discovery Plus, though, the app, you can just isolate the fights and just go through fight by fight. I do like that feature. But all these paywalls, man, it's a lot of money and not everybody can afford it. Like I said, my uncle cannot afford it.
So let's go this weekend. Sorry, mate. Let's go this weekend. It's $24.99 for Usyk Dubois, unless you'd done the 40 quid bundle that you done that included last weekend's card. It's then £14.99 on Amazon Prime for the Barrios Pacquiao card. So you look, that's 40 quid in one night there if you end up doing both pay-per-views. If you haven't got TNT, the subscription is, if you haven't got Discovery Plus, you're looking at £25 a month to subscribe to that for the UFC. You're talking about what you could do, in a night out, going to a decent restaurant just to cover all the fight sports that's going on Saturday. Cost of living crisis or not, you're not bringing in new eyeballs. You're not bringing in a younger audience when you're charging them, or they're having to go to their parents, depending on their age, for the best part of 50 quid just so they can watch some fight sports. It's not the right model at all.
They're making sport. Now, sport's always been elitist at the corporate level, right? And the ownership level. Gone are the days of a football chairman being a rich local businessman. You don't see that anymore. Yeah. But they're making sport to watch now elitist, where shut up. You've got to be not wealthy, but you've got to have a fair bit of disposable income. I mean, she doesn't know how much I spend on fucking TV, mate. I'd be dead because I'm spending way too much. Yeah. And I can't not, though. I can't not because I want to watch. And if I could guarantee that I could stay up and watch it live, I'd cut them all off. But I can't. I work 60 hours a week, so sometimes I'll miss the UFC and get up at 6 a.m. and watch it on a Sunday morning on record. Can't do that with an alleged illegal stream that I would never do. But, some people will do that. Some people will only be able to do that because...
So all this cracking down on Fire Sticks and on people allegedly illegally streaming fights, it's going to become an even bigger epidemic because the working class people... Boxing is a working class person sport. Let's stick to fight sports for a minute. And you're driving out the working class by what you're doing. That's exactly what's happening. And the worst part is there's nothing we can do to stop it. Like, you stop paying our subscriptions, it's not going to change anything.
Shut up. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good, mate. It's just a mess, mate. And if this new paywall is going to increase the prices by as much as people are saying, then I don't know what to say about it. Other than we are being bugged off.
We are. Right, moving on. Dennis McCann has finally been stripped of his EBU belt. I mean, what's going on with Dennis McCann? I mean, we didn't hear anything for 6 months. Then he filmed himself deadlifting and said, big announcement coming soon. A lot of apology. No, I think it was Conor Ben that said everyone would apologise. But he said, big announcement coming soon. I think Frank hinted that it had been a miscarriage of justice. We've seen absolutely nothing. We've had complete radio silence, and then he's been stripped of his EBU title. Read into that what you want, but that tells me that it ain't good news for Mr. McCann.
Dennis McCann has done a great Houdini disappearing act, and then appeared inside the Devonshire pub in London all over his social media in about February time of this year with his missus, saying a couple of Guinnesses and then my truth will come out. Well, we're 6 months removed from that nearly. We're still waiting.
Some Guinness, that, mate. Bloody hell.
He walked past me at Portman Road when I was getting to my seat at Portman Road for the Wardley fight. He walked past me, and I had to triple take because he had his hood up, almost pulled down over his eyes as if he didn't want to be there.
Can you see that comment? I can't put it on screen.
And then he got, like he almost didn't want to be there. Like he didn't want to be there. And literally went up on the big screen, and he got booed to high heavens. Bearing in mind that Wardley fight was predominantly a football crowd, if you think about it. But the reception he got tells it all. Then Frank Warren comes out and says, "Oh, it's a miscarriage of justice. It's this and that." Well, hang on, Frank. Should we pull up your interview from December where you said you were going to have to consider your working relationship with McCann because you can't believe what the test results show? Look, it's another case of he's probably serving a silent ban as we speak. He'll be back next year, and we're going to have to pretend we never know anything about it.
We are, sorry. Taro Destroyer, I own that camel. He never chewed, so you can have those balls back if you like. Moving on.
The only blessing is Peter McGrail is going to be in one of the two corners for the vacant belt. That's what the EBU has said. Yeah. McGrail finally gets his European crack. The question is, who's it going to be against?
Not sure, man. Not sure. But yeah, it's not looking good for Mr. McCann. I hope it all comes out in the wash. TKV versus Fraser Clark has apparently gone to purse bids. Who wins that fight? You're just thinking about camels chewing balls now, aren't you?
Not the fans, mate. I tell you that for free. Look, BBC iPlayer may be the best place for that fight because it's not going to be the most attractive fight to watch. TKV is the only fighter that I've been happy to go to the bar and pay overpriced for a bottle of water on when I've been in a boxing arena before. And Fraser Clark, bless him, yes, he's an Olympian, but the only fight that's ever caught fire of his was the first Fabio Wardley one. Other than that, you can pretty much predict what's going to happen. Fraser Clark's boxing pedigree from his amateur days should be enough to beat TKV, but it will be a horrible fight. It will be an absolutely horrible fight.
Yeah, I nearly did then. I pressed the wrong button. Right, moving on. From
TKV Clark, mate, what do you think?
I think Clark will smash him to pieces, me. I think Clark's too good for him. I think, though, it'll be a bit of a cuddle fest, but I just think Clark's boxing pedigree will ultimately come through. Jams, don't throw petrol on the fire, man. Just ignore it and move on, brother.
I'm so glad you said that. I was trying. Yeah, mate, look, Fraser Clark should stop TKV inside 6-7 rounds. That's the reality. But TKV could ruin a fight between a couple of raging bulls, for God's sake, without he's able to smother and hold. So yeah. I just don't see it being attractive. I said on Twitter earlier, it wouldn't at all surprise me if GBM bid for this on purse bids, win it, and stick it at York Hall. That's, and that wouldn't be a bad scalp for GBM with what they're trying to do at the moment. Unfortunately, Izzy, it will be a flipping horrendous fight, mate. But that's the sort of what we're talking about, because they're both boxer contracted fighters. The purse bids are in 5 weeks' time. So, a lot can happen in 5 weeks. Granted, a lot can happen in 5 minutes in boxing, but everything points towards this fight's going to take place under another promoter.
I agree. Right, I think that wraps up boxing. Have you got anything you want to touch on the boxing before we jump on to your UFC?
Nothing else, mate. Just how flipping focused, locked in, and actually pissed off Usyk looks at the presser
Told
today.
you. I did tell you.
He
Told you,
looks,
man. He looks next level for me.
yeah, mate. He's going to make a big statement.
Batter. I think so. I think so.
Let's go to the UFC, mate.
Just bear with me because I believe first on Friday. Yeah, on Friday we've got a PFL event. And the fight I'm looking forward to is, I'm pretty sure AJ McKee's on this card.
Pretty sure he is as well.
I think he's gone back down to featherweight. Nope. We've got Pinedo, Karbalev. Wait a second. No, that's Friday, 1st of August. So where am I?
I was going to say, there's no PFL, mate. I think you're a couple of weeks ahead.
Am I?
Yeah.
Never mind. Ignore me.
Anyway.
Right. UFC this weekend sees, apparently, I don't know how true this is going to be, but we have a trilogy fight at 155, which is lightweight. I think the 1-1. So Max Holloway beat him on points at featherweight. Oh, no, it's 2-0. Poirier stopped him, didn't he, in his debut?
Shit,
in Holloway's debut.
Yeah, sorry,
it's
mate. 2-0.
So, yeah, we've got, I don't know, yeah. Look, Max Holloway is the current BMF champion at 155. They fought at 145. Holloway's debut got stopped. I think got choked out. And then they fought again at 155 when Holloway was 145 champion. He wasn't ready for 155 and just got outboxed, basically. He's now settled into 155 as such, even though he's literally just fought at 145. But I think he's more natural at 155 now. Anyway, Dustin Poirier is having a retirement fight in his home state of Louisiana, is it? For the BMF belt. I don't believe he's going to lay. I mean, he might lay his gloves down, but I think he's too good to retire. But look, who am I to say when someone should retire? I think he's going to, if he has a good performance and beats Holloway, which I don't think he will. I think Max wins this. But if he does beat Max in impressive fashion, I think he's going to want to fight Ilia Topuria. What do you think on the main event, man?
Dustin wins this in the second round, and then he's fighting Ilia in November, December time. That's where we're at, mate. Look, if fight sports, you don't get your fairy tale ending very often. How many times have we seen fighters plan it and either just about get away with it or it blow up in their faces? It's happened time and time again. But Dustin Poirier, from where he was to where he's got to, after he lost to Khabib in 2019, everyone thought that was him done. Let's be realistic. Even he was saying in his interview he done with Adam Cassel for BT Sports at the time was he didn't know if he was going to be able to come back from this. Look at the run he's had since. He's had the two fights with Conor McGregor. He's had everything else he's done. He's had the Justin Gaethje fights. He's had everything he's done. This is his moment now to go out on a high, go out as the BMF champion, probably the most fitting BMF champion we've had so far in terms of where the UFC career's gone. But I agree with you, mate. He wins this. He wants to Poirier. Dana will put a decent-sized check into his hot sauce business, and he'll fight him in December. That's where it's going to go. But I do think he wins the fight and should retire. That's where I'm at.
Do you think he beats Max?
I think he beats Max. Stops him second round.
Wow, that is a big call. I think it's the other way. I think Max stops him with an accumulation of punches in round 4.
I just wonder if when Max lost last October out in Abu Dhabi, if that was a sign of him on a downward trajectory, and we've not seen him since to say that it wasn't. It's just the fact that Poirier is that good, if that makes sense. I'm going off of his recency bias, granted, but off of his last performance and the fact he was getting lit up. Yes, by an elite striker, but he was still getting lit up. This makes me favour with Dustin in this. Dustin in his home state, you're going to have to drag him out of that cage, no matter how much he's bleeding, no matter if he's got 2 broken arms, 2 broken legs. I just think he'll do it.
I get it. I get it. But Max is one of my favourites, so I'm backing the Blessed Express. Might see a draw, 66-1. You never know. The co-main event sees Paulo Costa, the guy that fights once, if we're lucky, once a year, against Roman Kopylov. I'm picking Kopylov to stop Paulo Costa. What's your thoughts on this fight?
Bored of Paulo Costa. How he deserves to be main event on a pay-per-view is possibly indicative of where the UFC are at this point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, good evening, Twinny Boxy. You've missed the
good to see you,
boxing.
mate.
We're talking about MMA now, but thanks for joining us. Appreciate that.
Cheers for coming
cheers,
over.
Jams and the boys at Red Corner Boxing for the recommendation. Appreciate
Look,
that.
I think it's indicative of where the UFC are at that someone like Paulo Costa is able to be co-main on a massive pay-per-view. I think he loses this fight, and I'm hoping it's enough for Dana to then cut the cord on him and then be done.
Yeah, I think he thinks he's better than he is. Every time he stepped up, you know, he's took an hiding. I would have preferred the next fight down the card as the co-main event, which sees Kevin Holland face D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. That's a very, very good matchup. They're both tough. It's at welterweight, which I think Kevin Holland's better at welterweight. He's Travis Lutter black belt, really good at striking, really unorthodox. Wins one, loses one, wins one, loses one. D-Rod's very similar to that recently. I think that's a really, really even matchup. The next fight down the card for me, though, is one of my favourites of the night, and it sees 50k Dan Ige facing off against Patricio Pitbull. Who have you got in that one?
Mate, could be fight of the night. Bar the main event, that should and could be fight of the night, shouldn't it? They will both stand and bang. They will both do what they can. I think it goes to distance. I think it's not going to be on the level of Gaethje and Chandler at MSG, but do you see what I mean? It's very much a back and forth. You land, I land. You have a rest. Right, we're both circle each other for 30 seconds,
Absolutely.
Then we'll go again. It's going to be of that sort of fight, and I just think Ige will edge it on the cards. I think it'll probably be split. You could probably make an argument for both, but Ige will get it.
Okay, I think Patricio will get that. I think he'll eke out a decision. I think his grappling and jiu-jitsu is what's going to see him through. I think he's outstrike. He will get outstruck by Dan Ige, but I think as soon as he gets him near the fence, he'll get him down. Below that, we've got Michael Johnson and Daniel Zellhuber. I think Zellhuber will knock Michael Johnson out. I think we've seen the best of Johnson. He hits hard. He's of a decent level, but Zellhuber, I'm high on. I think he's a really good. What? Oh, here we go with the. I'm not too knowledgeable on MMA. We know that by what comes next, Jams, with all the John Jones retired to not face Tom Aspinall. Well, there's two parts to that. So, yes, he did retire to not fight Tom Aspinall, but not out of fear. John Jones is trolling. John Jones wants 30 million, right? And they got a number very close to that, but it wasn't $30 million. It was very, very close. John Jones wants to fight on his own terms and he don't want to be dictated to. So if he has got back in the testing pool, like he says he has, then we will see that fight eventually, but we'll see it when John's ready. John is one of the greatest of all time. He's not scared of anybody. He knows Tom Aspinall's a risk, and that's why he's playing the long game, because he wants to make sure that if he gets beat with a stack of cash in his back pocket. So, yeah, he's not retired anymore as far as I'm aware. What do you know about that, Liam? He's not retired, is he now?
He's not retired, and Dana's announced this White House card. And did you see this video of him walking through the airport? I think it was yesterday, John Jones, and are you going to be on that White House card? And he doesn't have a good poker face. John Jones would probably be one of the worst bluff callers in poker history.
Yeah, it's happening. And I think
gave it away. Look, that White House card for next year, just a quick segue.
Yeah.
Is going to be something quite special, I think.
Regardless, Connor's back in the testing pool, isn't he?
Connor's back in some sort of pool, probably with his D holding his head down. But anyway, we're going to move on from that quite quickly. Look, that White House card has all the hallmarks of being incredibly special. And if what Dana said last week's to be believed, he's going to allow Donald to be involved in the matchmaking, then all hell break loose. Genuinely, that could be the most batshit fight sports as a whole card you've ever seen. I mean, someone does need to tell Donald Trump that when someone then wants to keep the belt after the fight, he does.
Yeah, give him it back. I think he's still on the pitch somewhere in America celebrating his club world.
I loved it. He got given a medal. If you watch it back, he got given a medal by the FIFA president that he went to put on, and the FIFA president said, no, put that in your pocket. You don't need to wear that. And then Cole Palmer's trying to move him out of the way from the trophy. I guarantee we've all seen this joke on social media. Cole Palmer knows him from Home Alone rather than the fact he's the president. 100%. I saw
100%.
100% go while I was looking. What's this key? Anyway, look, John Jones will fight Tom Aspinall at the White House next year.
I agree, and I think Conor will fight Chandler. I think we might see Islam Ilya. Yeah, they can fit about 25,000 in the garden of the White House. It's happening. Donald Trump's at every big card. He'll probably be there this weekend.
He likes Poirier. He's a big Poirier fan. So
yeah, him and Theo Von will be there. What the side by
he's in Scotland, mate. So I don't think he will be there. He's over at the
Theo is.
No, Trump's over.
Oh shit! The Open. Yeah,
Trump
cheating at golf like he allegedly does.
Trump is undecided upon.
There is a massive card scheduled for next. When is it? The card? It's next year, isn't it?
Next summer is what Dana said. So May.
Will it be International Fight Week? Do you reckon?
I don't think
International Fight Week went with a whimper this year, didn't it? It's not ordinarily a big deal, and it was shit this year, really.
It would make sense because you could flip and do the Hall of Fame inaugurations in the flipping Rose Gardens. Look, there's so many ways you could do it. It would be cool if they take International Fight Week out of Vegas, but I don't think they will.
Do you know who I think is going to come back on that card?
Who?
Ronda Rousey.
I said it might be the craziest fight sport card ever.
No, I think we're going to see like mad fights, like maybe Donald Cerrone back, Nate Diaz. I think we'll see some old heads on there. It'll be headlined by Aspinall. The only issue is Conor's not going to want to do a co-main, is he? Conor's going to want to be the main event, but you can't put Conor above Jones and Aspinall, regardless of who he fights, unless he fought Islam, but he's not getting that fight. Or Topuria at 155.
This card is going to be that crazy. I think Conor will swallow the fact he's not main event.
If he fights on it, I mean, he's got that much shit going on.
I was going to say, we're talking about something 10, 11, 12 months away, and Conor McGregor's worlds could completely collapse before then.
Is he and he's not allowed to participate. He's under contract at UFC. I think he's got 3 fights left. They let him fight Box Mayweather because they were involved, but he's not allowed to fight BKB. He's got no chance.
He's got shares in it though, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a shareholder.
That's what he is. He's got shares in it. Yeah.
He's not the big boss like he makes out. He's got a small sharing interest in it, but he's good for promo. But yeah, Conor, you need to detox, brother. That's all I'll say. I think you need to detox. Too much forged Irish stout. Anything else you want to talk about, Liam, before we call it into the show?
No, I think we're good, mate. Look. Well, we haven't. One thing we haven't even touched on with Sam this weekend. Obviously, Bam's looking to pick up another world title over in Texas. One thing I will say, and I know your opinion on this, I never like it when we already know the fighter's next fight opponent. When he's
I'm going to bet. I'm going to put a cheeky 20 on Cafu. I don't think he'll win, but just in case, Bam's got half an eye on his next fight.
Puma Martinez is a legitimate opponent, as we said.
Yeah, he's got a stake in BK. He's had it a couple of years now.
You know, and Jams was saying it on a live we done last week. Puma Martinez is a legitimate threat, is a more lucrative fight, and probably a more dangerous fight than Cafu is. But you don't play boxing, you don't play fight sports.
No.
I don't think Bam will get beaten, but how many times the best laid plans get teared up because you look too far ahead?
Yeah. Yeah.
Simple as that. That's I don't think there's anything else.
What's he saying just before we go? Bam vs Puma is a cracking fight, so let's hope it don't slip up. But yeah, you shouldn't. Even if the fight was made, don't talk about it because
announce it afterwards. Announce it in the ring after the fight.
Additional pressure. Just before I go, then, Galal Yafai, what do you think is going to happen with that? That fight be made a no contest. Will he get that belt, or will he have to fight for the vacant belt?
No contest vacant. So if the WBC have anything about them, he gets to fight the full champion like Rodriguez was going to.
Yeah, Sonny Edwards, put some respect on that man's name because Sonny Edwards called it in the fight. I think we commented that he looked strong and his punch resistance was it, something else, but I didn't, Sonny Edwards called it, man.
We were suspicious in the 10th and 11th when he was still looking like he did in the first.
Fresh.
And that was also not dripping an ounce of sweat either. Like, there was all signs there where you're going,
there was something.
What's going on? But yeah, no, Sonny Edwards called it in the 5th round. He called it early and took an absolute hammering for it, but was right all along.
Well done, Sonny. I will say this as well, just if we're talking about cheating. Mrs. Balanga, shut your fucking mouth, please. Because Hamza, stop trying to take dairy away from Hamza Shiraz, right? Whether he left one, I've seen fighters leave one wrap on and one wrap off. You had a member of the New York State Athletic Commission and a member of Team Belanga watching them hand wraps be put on that Andy Lee did. So what you're saying there then is the New York State Athletic Commission have let it go on and your team haven't done the job. That's on you then. But I don't believe that for 1 second. Hamza Shiraz was better, is better, was better, and will always be better than Ed. Belanga, right, is living off a defeat to Canelo. He's never been that good. He will never be that good, and he just got beat.
It's
that simple.
What is it?
Thanks,
I said,
Jams.
Cheers, Jams, mate. I said yesterday, what is it now that a fighter can't lose without either them making outlandish claims or their team or their partner doing it? Nobody loses. Nobody loses with grace anymore. The only fighter I can think recently that's done it in a high-profile way, Justice Hooney, made no excuses. Bearing in mind how much he was winning that fight at Portman Rose, he's not made a single excuse since, other than I just need. Yeah, well, the one thing he said on his social media, I need to stop getting sloppy. He knows in fights he switches off. That's his only excuse, and he's being honest with it. Too many fighters these days want to, try and save face by coming out with stuff afterwards, and all it does is make them look like a tit. And in this case, Belanga's allowing his missus to make herself look like a tit on his behalf, which any self-respecting man would always step in the way of his missus before she does that. But anyway, that's between the Belangas.
Anyway, it is. But thank you to everyone that's joined us. Red Corner Boxing, Mr. Neutral, Mitch. I will see you at the weekend, my brother. Everybody else that's commented and interacted, thank you very much. Even the weirdo that was Tarot Destroyer. I hope your boyfriend sorts his testicles out and the camel gets put down because that's just out of order. But thanks to everyone that joined us. Liam, my co-host, as always, it's been a fucking pleasure. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you Saturday night. We're doing watch-alongs, aren't we? So, yeah, Liam's Fight Night Picks, this week's episode with Matt Elliott from The Counterpunch is up on Jay's Fight Talk. You can catch this on Jay's Fight Talk. No Punches Pulled, of course, is over on SW Fight Up's YouTube channel.